It looks like the mayor's speaking or something. I think I'd rather go talk to regular people right now. Man, I found out about this yesterday, and I'm here today to start documenting this because I think it's important. I think a lot of people are getting together to figure out what's really happening, what the problems are, and what the solutions are. What do you think the problems are?
I think there's a ton of them. I mean, that's why they say the message is so scattered, you know, because everybody comes, you know, with their own sort of take on what's wrong, and you know, for the most part, the complaints are legitimate. You know, it's also true that people need to kind of focus if they're, you know, going to try to make things happen, change. But I mean, progressivism has typically been a catch-all for a lot of problems. You know, social problems, economic problems. But I think right now the focus is probably going to be economics. You know, a lot of it's going to be dealing with the foreclosures that are happening, with all the, you know, sort of attrition to the public works. You know, teachers, the post office, I mean, even the police and fire departments, you know, they're getting cut too. And,
they're expanding.
Yeah. Fire departments in certain places.
I know the police looks a lot more like the military every year. That's called expansion.
Well, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think a big part of it's going to be, you know, trying to stop the cuts that are happening really rapidly right now. And then the other thing is going to be, you know, trying to restore the middle class. Trying to restore.
I'm with that, man.
I mean, in addition to, you know, to just jobs and things, we also need jobs that pay enough. I mean, like the majority of the jobs that came in, you know, during the so-called, you know, what is it called?
Banker bailout?
No. The recovery. I'm sorry, the recovery. You know, a lot of the so-called jobs that came in, you know, so-called recovery jobs were what they call MIC jobs. You know, they're ones that people can't really survive on. They're great if you're a high school student, you live at home, and you're trying to buy a new stereo system for your car. Like, that's what those jobs are for. They're not for raising a family.
How do you feel about that place in LA called Rawsome Foods that got raided by the police for having raw milk? How do you feel about that?
Wasn't that intentional?
Well, what do you mean by intentional?
Didn't they do that on purpose to draw attention to that?
They didn't set it up, man.
I was under the impression that that was like an intentional stunt.
No, they got raided, federally raided. They had property seized and thrown out, and they're right next to a homeless shelter.
Okay.
And they got raided for having raw food.
Raw food or raw milk?
Raw milk, raw food, both of it.
Well, I mean, you know, unpasteurized stuff.
Like, do you know anything?
It's arguable that in some cases it can be, you know, dangerous. But I think as long as people, you know, like, yeah, I mean, as long as people are aware of what, you know, of what the FDA recommends, I think they should be free to buy what they want to.
How do you feel about Gibson getting raided? Like a company that's expanding, like Gibson is the world's favorite guitar. Okay.
Okay, Gibson. Okay.
Gibson guitar. Like, they got raided and shut down for having wood from India. Like, really, on paper, that's what it says. You can look it up.
What was wrong with the wood?
India passed a law recently that says that any wood coming out of India retroactively for about 10 years can now be seized or considered illegal in the U.S. They passed that law over there. Do you think that law should affect anyone here?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that law.
How do you understand capitalism? And do you see a rigged market being capitalism? Because I don't. I'm not able to participate in the capitalist market.
No.
I'm not able to participate, but I believe in it. If someday I could have my own corporation to protect me from scams, I would have a corporation. I would do business openly in the free market. Okay? Because I'm just that kind of guy. And having something where you have a rigged market where a product such as housing only goes up, that means it never comes down. Okay? In a free market society, things can come down, man. There's sales, man. Like,
but housing has gone down, though.
What happened?
But housing has come down.
Pardon?
But housing has come down.
It has come down since it crashed.
Yeah.
Like, the market crashed. But for years before that.
But I mean, that was a bubble, though.
Pardon?
That was a bubble.
That was a bubble. Yes, that was a bubble. It was.
I mean, you know, they were selling, you know, mortgages and loans that they knew would not be paid off.
This is absolutely true. How was that bubble established? Because by establishing the bubble, it already disqualifies any free market possibility.
Well, I mean, they established the bubble by, you know, undermining the whole underwriting process. You know, they had people sign off on things and say that they were, you know, of a higher rating than they were.
That's true.
You know, they sold
that's
people,
criminal too.
They sold people on those investments, and then they bet against them themselves privately, and that's all proven. But yeah, I'm not totally sure what the point was.
Okay. Well, the point was that I've seen the TV show a lot of people complain about capitalism, the free market or whatever, and how they're against corporations. And I firmly believe that if you understood what corporations were, you would know that they kind of act as almost a protection against scams. Like,
oh, yeah,
corporations are pretty, like I'm not defending Goldman Sachs. I'm not defending JP Morgan. I'm not defending central bank in Europe. Okay, I'm for auditing the Fed. I'm for like ending the Fed. All right, I'm for arresting the criminals and holding them accountable. Okay, but I don't believe that the media is really giving any attention to anyone who would be able to identify the criminals. They're leaving it at this blanket statement. Oh, it's capitalism. Oh, it's the free market. We need to end it. That's not what the problem is. The problem is there are real criminals that need to be arrested.
Who's ignoring it?
I think largely the mass media, the global 6 media. I think that's who's ignoring it.
Well, I mean, you know, the mass media kind of, you know, they report whatever it is that comes out of, you know, the machinery of mainstream government and stuff. So, I mean, they're not really going to go against, you know, they're not going to editorialize necessarily and voice an opinion.
When we have Bernanke and Geithner saying that we need to print more money, all they're really suggesting is that we accumulate more debt. Like the dollar, before Nixon took us off the gold standard, you could buy gold with $1. Today, it buys debt. Okay? This is not an opinion. This is just how it works, and you can look it up. There's a library right over there that you can go to and check out those books and see how what the dollar really means. Okay? Printing more money, like in other words, having a $10,000 bill to buy you a hamburger, won't make you any more rich. Having a dollar buy you a piece of gold just might. Does that make sense?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, if all of the money is based off of you know, debt, then there wouldn't be any kind of quantitative difference between somebody that is rich and poor.
There isn't.
Well, there is, because they can actually buy services and
99% is making under 200 million, 200 billion. We just went into debt for trillions of dollars. What's a few billion?
But I mean, you know, if you have somebody from like Goldman Sachs or you have the Koch brothers, you know, they have American money and it still works for them. So I don't.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. They invest in gold and silver. They have loads of it. That's real wealth. You may not like it, you may not want it, that's fine. I'm not asking you to buy it.
So you're saying go back to the gold standard?
I'm saying that if the dollar is backed by the gold, the dollar has value. If it is the way it is now, and Bernanke keeps printing more money, more paper money, it's just going to buy more debt.
Well, what about what happened in the 1880s?
What happened in the 1880s? Explain it.
Well, the Populist Party. What happened was there wasn't enough actual hard currency out there, and farmers were suffering because they had to pay back their debt, so they wanted to cause inflation.
Okay, yeah, inflation damages your buying power.
So why don't we, instead of going back to the gold standard, why don't we just take money off the table altogether?
I'm not sure about. I like cash. I'll be honest with you. I like hard cash. I like cold hard cash. I like gold.
Well, how much gold is actually in the country?
I don't. Yeah.
Probably not a lot. But the thing is, not everybody wants it though. That's the thing. The people that do want it can influence it, but only to a certain extent. That's where having something that of value like a car or a house or land or crops really puts you ahead, because in certain years, certain seeds are worth more than gold, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but all those.
That's where the guy with the gold wants to buy some seeds.
All of those derive their money.
I don't know that.
Okay.
All of them derive their meaning from money. It's all defined by money. which is
I wouldn't-
false value.
I wouldn't agree with that. The economy is. Everything else, I don't agree with that. Like religion's not based on money. Like spirituality is not based on money. Like human emotions, love, trust, that's not
No,
based
I'm
on
talking
money.
about you said your car.
The economy, all right? The economy is
Yeah.
based on money. That's fine. The thing is, how we attach value to that money should be something concrete. I don't care
Yeah,
if you,
what you can produce with your own hands.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand loans and interest rates, because if you were to call back all of the loans immediately, if you were to call them all back, not only would you have no money in circulation, you would actually be in the red.
True. Well,
Yes.
look at this. Look at it this way, though. The thing is, okay, in the 80s, something called derivatives got legalized.
Yes, I
You know derivatives.
Yes, I do know.
Right on. So as soon as that got legalized, banks were able to make gambling like situations legal, where you could bet on who would lose, and that's dangerous. See, if you're betting on the winner, somehow that works for a lot of people. When you're betting on the losers, it kind of makes it harder to pay off that loan.
Exactly. Well, the problem is they actually want them to fail this, so that's why they would, of course, give loans to people that they know they can't
That's
pay
where
back.
derivatives are wrong,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's where Glass-Steagall needs to be reinstated.
That was Clinton. Clinton shouldn't have taken us off of that. That was
I'm with you.
FDR.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that. Like that's definitely something I agree with. What do you think needs to be done?
Well, honestly, I don't think capitalism can last. I think it's an unsustainable system. It's all based on artificial wants and needs.
Okay.
I think money is a fake currency. When you introduce it into the barter system,
Okay.
it absolutely...
I'm for the barter system, but I also like cold hard cash. I like having gold
The
around.
problem is all this stuff was built off of unbacked
Yeah.
unbacked
Yeah.
money.
No, that's true.
So if we were to go back to the gold standard, there'd be no money in circulation.
That's not necessarily true. You can
And-
still you could still do that.
There'd be
It's worked before.
barely any money. It's worked before, but not to
It's
this
worked before.
extent.
Well, the thing is,
Globalization only happened in the last 20 years
let's
because
identify
of this.
let's identify the problem. Okay. When you have the housing market go straight up,
And wages are stagnant.
right? They're going straight up. That's not free market, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay, so that's not capitalism.
Well, that's because that's because the demand was so high.
Well,
Free
let's-
market is demand equals supply.
let's look at that.
That was the equilibrium price at that time.
Let's look at that Glass-Steagall and let's look at those derivatives, because as soon as you get rid of those, as soon as you add derivatives and get rid of Glass-Steagall, you have a situation that is not capitalist in the housing market.
Well, none of this is capitalist, anyways. This really is a socialist state. I mean, it's
Kinda.
it
Kinda.
is. I mean, come on.
I'm not for it though. I'm not
Well, no,
defending this.
I know. I'm just saying.
I'm not defending poverty. I'm not defending the
Absolutely.
looting of public funds to raise a police, a federally funded militarized police that's ready to do some ugly stuff to the public, man. I'm not for it, man.
Well, yeah, it's all government subsidized, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. I saw the arrest yesterday on TV,
Yeah.
and look, I don't think that's gaining sympathy with anybody. I don't think getting arrested is going to help anybody. I think being free and being able to openly speak your mind and being able to like address anyone here with a camera, a badge, or any person on the street, being able to express your ideas is going to make you way more credible.
We're about to go join a support for the group that's marking the 10th anniversary of Afghanistan. It was
Okay.
voted on the General Assembly of Occupy LA. Would you like to join us?
I just might. I want to get some other people. I hear there's
Alright,
people down the street.
We're meeting at 10 to 10
Yeah.
on that corner right there, and then we're just heading over and just going to support them. They're going to do some civil disobedience.